Como protesta ante las actitudes mostradas por las disqueras internacionales en contra de las redes peer-to-peer, un grupo de artistas canadienses como Avril Lavigne y la banda Bare Naked Ladies, entre muchos otros, decidieron formar una coalición de creadores de música del Canadá, con la cual esperan defender los derechos de autor, pero brindándole a los usuarios la posibilidad de no tener que pagar por derechos una vez que hayan comprado el disco, ya que según la organización, las disqueras están más preocupadas por ganar dinero que por darle apoyo a los nuevos músicos. Hoy vamos a conocer a Vinton Cerf, nada más y nada menos que el creador del protocolo de Internet. Vamos a ver.
Let me make a couple of observations. One of them is that the net was originally designed in a non-national way. In other words, it was carefully structured so that it did not embed within its architecture any notion of country. Now, that's slightly different as you look at the domain name system and you see top-level country codes like .mx. So clearly there was some acknowledgement that in addition to the generic top-level domains of the domain name system, that there should be some recognition of national. But at the Internet protocol layer, there is no country concept at all, and that was deliberate. It was deliberate because when this was originally designed, it was for the Defense Department to use in tactical and strategic settings where you didn't know what country you would be in or what borders you would be crossing, and so there was no utility in identifying that a particular router had an internet address that was in this particular country. All you cared about was the topology of the net. So let's fast forward now. Here we are in 2006, and we're seeing how the network is being used. And there are at least two phenomena that are clear. One of them is the international reach of the network has encouraged interactions between people either unaware of or who are capable of ignoring the country of location of the people they're interacting with. So the simple examples of this, of course, are email going all over everywhere, but also video games and things like that that involve role-playing. You'll find people grouping together because of their common interests. The web does the same thing. People go to a particular web page because they've discovered it, maybe through Google or from some advice from someone, but they wind up interacting with each other because of a shared interest, which is usually independent of any particular country they're in. Now, the interaction doesn't work, of course, unless they speak a common language. So this leads to the other observation about the Internet. There are potential interactions among individuals that are often local in their character, because the people you know the most often are people who are physically not far away from you. And so the ability to localize the information that the network offers is a valuable capability. So Google, among others, is clearly recognizing the utility of having that kind of information accessible. And here we get into an extremely interesting but complicated policy debate. I believe that the utility of the Internet is a direct consequence of people's access to everything on the network. And I believe that the ability to put up a new product or service without having to get permission from anyone to do that is also a very important element of the Internet structure. It invites entrepreneurial innovation. And there have been some moves on the part of some telecos to constrain who has access to what information. I mean, even if you're offering a broadband service, you might end up saying to the subscriber, well, I know I took your money to give you broadband access to the Internet, but I'm not actually going to give you access to everything on the Internet. I'm only going to give you access to those people who've already paid me to allow them to get to you. And so all of a sudden the Internet world has shrunk down to a collection of sites that business models have been built up for, or business agreements have been built up. I find that to be absolutely unacceptable, because it inhibits the one thing which makes the net so valuable, and that is the freedom to connect from anywhere to anywhere else. Right? So we've had a decade or more of Internet which has been completely open. And as we move towards broadband, we're seeing this thing kind of collapse. Not collapse in the sense of crashing, but the options are confining. And so I resist that very strongly. I believe that open broadband access is just as important now as the open dial-up access was 10 years ago.
Un grupo de especialistas del Instituto Politécnico Nacional desarrollaron una técnica de blindaje a partir de una mezcla de solventes sin líquidos ni sustancias contaminantes, que permitirán fabricar ropa a prueba de armas blancas, artículos sumamente resistentes y extremadamente ligeros, y hasta nuevas aleaciones para ser utilizadas en los trajes espaciales. Además, crearán una variante que podrá utilizarse para producir cosméticos de alta calidad y medicinas más efectivas. Si quieres guardar Lateral TV en tu computadora, escoge el formato que tú quieras, ponle guardar como y escoges en dónde salvarlo. Nos vemos mañana.